Hi, AAHKS members. Steve Engstrom here. I'm the Vice Chair of the Advocacy Committee, and I want to address the 2027 Medicare Physician Fee Schedule that was recently released. As you are all aware, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services recommended a 20% reduction to the physician reimbursement for the total hip and total knee CPT codes. I'd like to take a moment to address how we got here and the steps that AAHKS will be taking to fight these cuts. First, these cuts are actually a long time in the making. They are a direct result of total knee and total hip being removed from the Medicare inpatient only list in 2018 and 2020, respectively. This means that since then, any joint replacement patient, regardless of where they had their surgery, that spent less than 24 hours or 2 midnights in the hospital was considered an outpatient joint replacement. In 2025, the American Medical Association RUC identified the CPT codes for total hip and total knee as having a site of service anomaly, meaning that greater than 51% of Medicare total joints were now being performed as outpatient. At that time, AAHKS and the Academy were required to survey our members to determine if there had been a change in work associated with these codes, which would result in a revaluing of the codes. Unfortunately, the deck was stacked against us. Transitioning from inpatient to outpatient meant that we would lose the value of any hospital visits associated with the codes, aside from the discharge day visit. Furthermore, because the RUC decided to survey total shoulder arthroplasty at the same time, our comparison code was limited to retina surgery, something that we vehemently opposed at the time, but were compelled by the RUC to use. As a result of the survey, the RUC recommended an approximately 2.5 RVU reduction to CMS. We now know that CMS felt that the recommended cuts were not sufficient. They have indicated in the past that the RUC has looked too favorably upon surgeons and has overvalued procedural care. They are now seeking to modernize physician payments to more closely align with the administration's goal to prioritize healthcare over sick care, despite the fact that joint replacement has been proven to cure disease and allow seniors to live a more active and healthy lifestyle. These cuts are a direct result of the fact that all physician payments must be budget neutral, meaning that if there is a push to increase reimbursement for one specialty, it must come at the expense of another. As the highest volume and highest cost procedures in the Medicare patient population, we have been placed firmly in the crosshairs. Make no mistake, AAHKS fully recognizes the devastating impact this will have on both our members and our patients. We firmly believe that these cuts will drive healthcare consolidation, limit patient access, and result in an overall increased cost to the system. As such, we are taking strong actions to oppose and hopefully stop these cuts. Our current president, Dr. Antonia Chen, has asked me to lead a task force of key AAHKS leaders in order to develop a multifaceted strategy to convince Congress to stop the proposed CMS reduction to our value. We understand that every member of AAHKS is hurt, angry, and frankly insulted by these cuts, and it will take all of us acting in unison to make a difference. Please be on the lookout for communications from AAHKS on how to contact your elected officials in Washington to voice your opinion. Also, don't be afraid to talk about this with your patients. Members of Congress need to hear from them as well. If you are interested in learning more about the AAHKS task force, the steps we're taking with CMS, and having your questions and opinions heard, please join us for an upcoming virtual town hall this Wednesday, August 5th. Details can be found on the AAHKS website. Thank you all for the work that you do in caring for arthritis patients, and I hope to see you on August 5th.